How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a very sad and very confusing story coming out of Wilson, North Carolina, which is about an hour east of Raleigh, North Carolina. A 5-year-old boy by the name of Hinnant was shot at point blank range by his next door neighbor, a 25-year-old man by the name of Darius Sessoms. Now, this incident happened right around 5:30 p.m., so it was plenty of daylight to see what was happening. Unfortunately, Cannon's 7 and 8-year-old siblings witnessed the shooting, and Cannon's father, I'm not sure if he saw it, but he rushed out from where he was and went to go get the boy. They took him to the hospital. They tried to save him, but unfortunately, he was not able to be saved, and he has passed away. They did apprehend the shooter about a half hour north in Goldsboro. Now, to address the elephant in the room before we go any further, Cannon was white, and the shooter, Darius, is black. Now, I'm not sure if the mainstream media will cover this story too much because of what I just said. And it's sad, really, the race shouldn't matter. To me, the race does not matter. I don't care what color you are. All I see is a 5-year-old innocent boy and a 25-year-old murderer. That's all I really see. I don't see anything else. But of course, the media are not really going to cover it as much as what they would if the races were reversed. Imagine if you had a 25-year-old white man and a 5-year-old black boy. This would be like Dylan Roof. It'd be considered, white supremacy and the Klan coming back. It'd be framed in that sense rather than it being senseless, which is what it is. And it's confusing because the neighbors knew each other. Okay, Darius, the guy that shot the little boy, would hang out with the little boy's father. They had dinner together on Friday. I think like a day or so before the shooting, Darius was at the little boy's father's house hanging out with him, chilling. So I just don't understand why this whole thing happened. I don't get it. They were not new neighbors. They had been on that same street for a very long time. I think Darius, his parents, or at least one parent, had been on that same street for 28 years. On the same street, 28 years. So why is it now, all of a sudden, after being neighbors for years and years, hanging out together, eating dinner together, that you would go do something like that? I don't understand what's going on. Now, of course, this guy, Darius, does have a record, but it's not anything like that. Not any kind of violence from what I see. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. I think he did have like a gun charge, but what he did from what I'm reading is that he had like a dope house that he was running. This was not a long time ago. This was like 2016, 2017. And he had open warrants for having basically drugs in the house. Now, I don't know if the little boy's father, if he was on drugs or what's going on. I have no idea about any of that. This is still pretty early and we don't have a lot of information. All that I do know is that the shooter and the boy's father were apparently friends and they hung out with each other. So I don't understand how you go from having dinner with somebody on Friday, being at their home a day before the shooting, to going out there and shooting a little boy at point blank range. All right. This was not a random attack. It was not anything like an accident, because witnesses said that he went up to the boy and then shot him point blank range. It was very intentional. People saw it happen. So I just don't understand why this whole thing is going on. Not at all. This is going to be kind of a short video because we're kind of light on information, but I wanted to put it out there because the mainstream media might not touch it. They may touch it. I'm not sure from what angle they'll approach it. Maybe they'll talk about gun control or mental health. I have no idea because, like I said, as of right now, we don't really know what's going on. Was there some kind of issue between the father and the shooter? If there is, then it doesn't make much sense for them to be hanging out like just hours before the shooting to have dinner at the man's house. I don't understand why that's going on. Okay. Is it a mental thing with the shooter? I have no idea. I feel like if there was some kind of mental problem with the shooter, then maybe the neighbor would have known that, considering that they were next door neighbors and had been living that way for years and years and years with no problems. Okay. Apparently they were friends. So I just don't really get what's going on. This is really confusing to me. I may do an update on this if we get more information, but all I have right now is that the little boy, unfortunately, did pass away and the shooter is in custody. All right. Now, it was witnesses. It was plenty of daylight. It was like broad daylight, 5:30 p.m. in the summertime. So there's no doubt that he did it. It's just a matter of now, what's going to be the sentence? Is it going to be death, Did he have that in North Carolina? I don't really know. I definitely want to hear from the father to see what he says, and to hear from witnesses to see what they say as well about the shooter and about the father and the family and everything else. So that's pretty much all I got, and I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What do you think caused this whole situation to happen? How do you go from being friends, hanging out with each other, to then all of a sudden you take your friend's son's life? What is the, like, why did that actually happen? I have no idea. Like I said, we're really early right now. I just don't know what's going on outside of what I already said. It's just really confusing. If it were just a random act of violence, then that might make more sense than the person knowing the father of the boy that he shot. If it was just a random act of violence, you would say, okay, the person is just crazy. They're just evil. They're murderous. And maybe that's all true for the shooter in this case, but it just doesn't really add up if you were friends with the little boy's father. I just don't really get it. And then broad daylight, so you knew what you were doing. I just don't know. I guess one angle that I read was that he could have, thought it was a toy gun or something and then shot him, but that made no sense. I mean, you know what a gun is. You know if it's loaded. You know that you shouldn't go over there. You shouldn't even play like that, even if it was, just like some kind of prank or something stupid like that. You wouldn't even play like that. This was intentional, but I just don't know why it was intentional. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.